Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Choose Happiness podcast. I'm getting over a little laryngitis, so I'm a little Jessica Rabbit-y today. Hope nobody minds. But I am so excited for you to meet my guest today. He calls himself the Okayest Magician. Coming to us from Northern Virginia, we have Mr. Gary Hernberg.
Hello,
Yay!
Rachel. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure.
Well,
Thank you for
I
having me.
thank you. I am so intrigued and I cannot wait to hear your story because you are known professionally as the okayest magician, but I have a
Right.
feeling you're probably a little more than just okay.
My whole magic career was kind of an accident, and the name was also an accident. Uh, I think I bought a T-shirt on Amazon that said "World's Okayest Magician," and I said, "Oh, that's funny. I'm going to buy that." And I think I got it after I started doing magic, and I was like, "Huh, I need a persona.
Mm,
I can work with this. It's the bumble kind of a bumbling
right.
magician persona." Um, and it's kind of it's almost when I get to a gig and I say, look, you didn't pay for the greatest magician, you paid for the okayest magician. I'm in your price range. This is the show you're going to get. The doors are locked. I've already been paid. uh,
Nice.
let's go. So it fits, and then I've built my whole branding and marketing on it, and I realized I should have set up my banner behind me. That would have been really cool. uh, maybe I'll do that in intermission.
Sure,
um,
sure.
it fit. And anybody who's seen my show, they're like, you're not okay, you're really good. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
I like to set expectations correctly before we start. I'm a semi-professional magician, so you're paying for my services. I should
Right.
deliver something.
Yes.
But if I have you thinking what's going to happen because he's the okayest magician, and there are other people out there that do something similar, that,
Mm,
kind of the bumbling magician
yeah.
act. And, there's the serious magicians, and there's
Mm,
the silent magicians, and there's kids magicians. So I'm just more of a general, I prefer to do adult, I don't do kids stuff because
mm-hmm.
I like to use bad language and
Mm,
things like that. So
mm-hmm.
most of the people I do magic for are Washington, D.C., 30 somethings
Mm,
um, with disposable income. And it's either, it can be in their apartment or in a bar or restaurant for a party. I do a lot of that.
mm-hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, I guess
that's how I came up with the name.
if you were like Gary the Great, that really people
I,
expect a certain, you know,
after I had already kind of invested in my name,
yeah.
um, and I think I had got my domain and everything, I said, oh, wow, I missed a really good opportunity. I could have been Gary Goudini
Oh,
because all the old Italian magicians were actually Jewish guys who didn't want people to know they were Jewish. And I was like,
amazing.
I missed it. Maybe if I reinvent the act, at some point, I'll be Gary Goudini in the
Yes.
future. If
When
nothing
you
changes,
begin,
it's still
you begin your escape artist
exactly,
set.
yeah.
That's right. Right. Well, I want to make sure everybody knows you are a member of both the International Brotherhood of Magicians and the Society of American Magicians. So you are absolutely legit. However, it's also important to note you were not always a professional magician. Can you take us on your journey to get where you are today?
Absolutely, yeah. I started very late, and again by accident, which I'll probably explain later. I started in my mid 50s. I've only been doing magic for about 4 years.
Mm.
So I started in my 50s. Most of my magic friends, or some people just call them friends, they started when they were kids, and maybe they did it up through middle school, high school, maybe even through college, and then maybe stopped for a while, or kept going. I mean, I know guys who've been doing it for 60 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I know other guys who started maybe in their 40s or 20s. I only know one other guy who started in his 50s.
Hmm.
And he's a kid's magician. He's got to be in his 70s now. and he's one of the hardest working magicians in the area.
Wow.
Um, so for me, getting into the hobby, I've had a lot of hobbies in my life. Different sporting things, pickleball, of course. We've all done pickleball. Um, but I've never gotten any hobby I've done, I've never gotten involved in the ancillary parts of the hobby, the clubs, the organizations, until this one. Something with this one clicked with me, and I was like, wow, I want more. And I can only get so much from YouTube and the internet and sitting in my office. I need to go and find out how to be a magician because I loved it from the first second, but pretty close to the beginning of when I accidentally stumbled onto it. But it took me a good 3 years to get up the confidence to go out and start to perform. And
Mm,
in between that, when I started and when I started to perform, I joined these organizations. And these organizations have local chapters
mm.
that have meetings. And I, emailed the contact and I said, hey, when's your next meeting? Can I come? They're like, of course you can come. And both of them, both organizations, they're both a little different.
Mm.
Uh, the chapters in the DC area for both of them happen to be some of the largest chapters that the IBM chapter is, I believe, it's definitely the largest in the US and maybe the largest in the world.
Wow,
Um,
wow.
and it's had a lot of famous alumni because people who are connected to DC uh, would join this chapter. So the one name that comes to mind is Norman Schwarzkopf, the general during the Iraq War. He was a member of this chapter long before I was. But
Wow.
sometimes they talk about these guys who have passed away years ago, like they're in the next room because they're still magicians to them.
Yes.
And then the other chapter, it's a smaller, but since I've started to go, we had maybe 10 people at a meeting. We're up to 25 people at a meeting now, which is
Wow.
for a bunch of old magicians, it's really great. I'm rambling on about what was the question? Oh, how did I get started?
Yeah, yeah.
A couple of years went by, and then um, so this is going to be a weird segue, but then the 2024 election happened, and the government offered um, people the deferred resignation program.
So you were working full time while you were go starting the magic.
So I was working full time. I
Okay.
was just doing magic as a hobby,
Okay.
always thinking I was going to do it.
Gotcha.
And then Elon Musk said, hey, if you want to not work anymore, we'll pay you not to work. And if you had, then somebody else said, hey, if you have 20 years in the government and you're over 50 years old, you can retire. And I
Wow.
said, on I look, I won't go into that story, but I took that deal and
Hmm.
I basically got paid for 9 months to sit at home and do nothing. Well, in that time, I got a part-time job that I still have, and I also started working more on my magic because I had all
Mm.
day. I was
Yeah.
just sitting in this room all
Yeah.
day, and I'd be like, okay, I can do magic. And then finally, I said, I'm doing it, and I put myself out there. And there's some gigging websites that people use for bands and
Mhm.
singers and magicians. I put it out there. Within a week, I had my first gig,
Wow.
and I said, shit, now I have to plan an act. I had the basics of my act in my head,
Yeah.
and I practiced it, and I actually did a show for my family. And so that was the bones of it. But then I needed my outfit, I needed my hat, I needed,
Yeah.
and I needed a full act. And I got one, I did it. And my first gig went I thought it went famously. It was
Hmm.
great. They, and they really liked it. And she gave me a 5-star review and I was hooked. That
Yeah.
was in November. That was just like past November.
Wow.
That's how long it took me to get the confidence to go out there and perform for people for money. I mean,
Yeah.
people pay me to do this, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Um, and that there's that old saying, if you're getting paid for your hobby, you're never working.
Hmm.
So even though my most of my gigs are Friday night, Saturday night, which normally would be, time with my wife or doing something else, I'm out working,
Yeah.
and I love it. I love it.
Wow.
And I've probably, so I started 26. I had a gig, at least one gig every week up until like last week.
Wow.
And
I love that there was, you put your name out there and then it was like, boom, the door opened. That's so encouraging because it seems like it was the right time, you know?
well, and you know what she said? When she messaged me, she says, I don't know if I'm going to hire you, but I had to talk to the Okayest Magician. I had to find out. And I was like, "Yep, that's me."
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm glad you did. And we talked on the phone, and one thing I have found is that if people say, can I talk to you? Can we set up a phone call? I always do that because I think I've closed every gig. I've gotten hired for every gig where I've spoken to them on the phone,
Oh,
which
that's
is an
interesting.
interesting in this day and age, uh, with everything being email, text, whatever,
Yes.
that that personal phone call still seems to close the deal.
That's great. That's great
Yeah.
advice for people to know, for gigs,
Yeah,
for the
who are
gig
trying to get
economy.
into this kind of gig or the performing, whether you're a comedian or whatever. If you're
Hmm.
um and my stuff, I think one thing that helps with that also is I do a lot in like living rooms are my bread and butter. I'm in
Mm.
performing in someone's living room, 10 people, 12 people.
Hmm.
It's a very intimate experience. So I
Mm.
think having a little more knowledge of the person in addition to, what you see on their website or whatever, because that's, what I put on my website is what I want you to see.
Right.
And it's, there's nothing to hide. I'm a magician,
Yeah,
except all the secrets to my
that's
magic.
right.
Um, but getting to know me a little bit more, I think really helps. So that, as a piece of advice and I've told other of my magician friends who are like, wow, who say to me, I see you're booking all these gigs. What are you doing? And I tell them that. I said, I have my website, I've got my gigging book sites, and I'm grinding, I'm hustling. I'm
Hmm.
trying to hustle. And then that phone call seems to really help
Well, it makes sense. And I think too, then you also get the vibe of what you're walking into.
me.
And that helps you to either tailor your show or just to walk in and know, okay, it's going to be a rowdy crowd, it's going to be a calmer crowd. That's good for you to prepare.
Exactly. And I always ask before I say, look, anything off limits?
Right.
Do you not want me to talk about I don't talk a whole. I'm doing a maybe my show is 1/5 comedy,
Mm-hmm.
stand-up comedy, and 4/5 magic.
Mm.
But I feed off of what people give me. I don't, it's not my show is not really scripted a whole lot.
Oh,
So if the crowd is very interactive, then I'm very interactive. And I'm almost like a Don Rickles kind of insult magician.
yeah.
That's another path I could go down, being an insult magician. Um, but you usually figure it out within the first couple of minutes. One,
Mm.
what kind of party is it? Are they partying?
Uh-huh.
And that, like most things, the more you drink, the better I look, and the better my magic is, and the more you're going to enjoy it. Uh, that's why this 20 something, 30 something crowd in DC, there's a lot of them, well educated people, um, fun, but serious about their jobs in a lot of cases
Hmm.
because they're either on Capitol Hill or they're with a law firm that works with the government. So they take their jobs very seriously. But then the other side of that is kind of that work hard, play hard
Mm.
mentality. So they want to have a good time.
Hmm.
Um, and a lot of times I'll make the joke, especially if it's a birthday, like a somebody's birthday party. I say, people are like, "Oh, you're the magician." I'm like, "No, I'm a stripper." You didn't realize that the birthday person that they like old bald Jewish guys. That's their thing. You didn't know that? How well do you know them?
It's great.
I say, of course I'm the magician.
Right.
And then, of course, invariably somebody will say, "When's the stripping start?" Like when
Yeah.
I'm unpacking up all my stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, you really don't want that." You want me to leave now, trust me.
Right. Well, when you think about it, I mean, there isn't, it's such a great, now that people I think are really getting together more in an analog, if you will, people are really craving, especially since COVID and because
Yeah.
everything is so digital. I try to think, where can you go see magic? There's Vegas, there's the Magic Castle, if you can get it, in California, but it's
Yeah.
not one of those things you like the movies or something where you can just go and see a magic show.
And that's another I always ask people, I say, how many people have seen live magic?
Hmm.
And some crowds, it's a lot of people. Some crowds, no one has ever seen live magic. And if they have seen live magic, it's never this close. It's
Yes.
never 10 feet away. They've seen David Copperfield or Shin Lim or somebody in Vegas,
Hmm.
or on, on TV or Penn and
Yeah.
Teller.
Right, right,
And
right.
it, so it's, again, that goes back to the intimate experience of
Hmm.
I'm in your living room, I'm 10 feet away from you, and I'm going to do it this trick. And hopefully you don't figure out how I did it
Yeah.
because that would be embarrassing.
Well, that's even, I would say that you have to be even more skilled if you're doing close-up stuff because you're right. I mean, you're right there.
And that's what I like about it.
Hmm.
That's what I do like that. It is a challenge at times. So
Yeah.
I have to I think I figured out how I want to word it. I have to craft my show to that space and that
Mm.
environment. So there's, when you buy magic or you're learning a trick, people talk about angles. Well, is it only good from straight ahead? What if I have people on my sides? You definitely don't want someone behind you for this trick. Whereas other tricks, you can have somebody behind you. So it depends on the particular trick or the effect you're trying to do.
Hmm.
Um, I started post COVID, so Zoom magic was a thing during COVID, and you asked me if I could do a trick, and we'll get to that later. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I've never done anything over Zoom. That'll be new. We'll try it.
Yeah. Oh,
We'll try
good. Oh, I'm very
it.
excited.
We'll see what happens.
Well, while we're talking about your act, I know that on your website, I believe it says, where did I find that? You are strolling, walk around, and parlor magic. So
Yeah,
can you sort of like what do those mean and what does it look like at a bar versus in a living room? I'm so curious.
excellent questions. Strolling and walk around are the same thing.
Oh,
Those terms are interchangeable.
okay.
That is what I would do at a bigger event. So if you were having me in your living room and there was 10 people, I would tell you you don't want a strolling show. You
Mm,
want a parlor show. Parlor show is basically a small stage show.
okay.
So there's there's these different genres of magic. One is close up,
Hmm.
which could be just people sitting around a table. There's parlor, which is I'm going to be standing generally, and you're going to be sitting. There's walk around, which is close up, but in smaller groups. So if you think of like a cocktail party where there's these little pockets of people,
Mm,
I'm making my way from pocket to pocket and I'm showing them a couple tricks. And then I'm like, I'll be back and I'll see you in a few minutes. I go to the next group, I do a couple of tricks, and I move on. So again, depending on the party. Now in a bar, it's interesting because I've done both in a
mm,
bar. Uh, some bars and restaurants, they'll have a private room where the party is,
mm,
and I can do a parlor show in there. And I
hmm,
bring my own audio equipment if I
mm.
need it, so I can be amplified. Uh, but if it's a big crowd, that's not going to work. They don't want to stop the party for an hour. My show's an hour, give or
Oh,
take.
okay.
Uh, when they're trying to, because nobody wants to sit there for an hour at that type of event.
Right.
Some do, and I've done that. I've done both.
Mm,
They're both fun. Um, I think from a value perspective, the parlor show's a better deal for me.
mm,
I
mm.
charge the same amount of money for
Mm.
a 1 hour parlor show and 1 hour of walk around. You're going to get a lot more magic for the parlor show, and it's going to be straight through, but it requires everyone to be kind of focused on the magic.
Gotcha.
So,
Now, does doing these different, a stage show versus a walk around, so does that kind of keep it fresh for you?
yeah, because they're different tricks. So
Mm,
I
oh,
have different things that I do in my parlor show than I do for my walk around show because the walk around show is much more close up. Now I can
right.
do there's some I can do both, but
Yeah.
there's others I absolutely cannot do. I can do them once, and the other thing is repeatability. Um, in a walk around situation, there's usually going to be people shift in their chat groups. So I don't you one of the rules of magic is you don't want to show somebody the same trick twice. The
Ah.
first time is entertainment, the second time is a lesson
That's very
because you could
good.
figure it, and depending on the trick, you may figure it out. We don't want that.
Yeah.
And it takes it away. The one piece of advice I give my audience is don't try and figure it out because you'll enjoy it.
Yes.
You can try and figure it out tomorrow, but while we're here, just enjoy the magic.
Yes. Yes,
And
exactly.
I emphasize to them, nothing you're going to see. You may see something similar on YouTube, but it's not this
Right.
because I'm buying magician grade magic.
Yeah.
So because you buy it. Um, did that answer your question? I think it did.
Yes, and thank you so much. And the times here where we live, we had, especially when the kids were little, we had a walk around magician at a restaurant, and we'd make
Mhm.
sure to go every time. And I'm telling you, you're sitting there and you're looking, and you're like, how does he do that? Like, it just
And
blows my mind.
so you meant restaurant magic is another genre.
Oh, it is.
And yeah, and it is actually how I thought I would start. It's a very common low pressure situation for people to start because I would go to a restaurant and I would say, "Hey, Tuesday nights, do you mind if I come and do some magic?" And maybe I would do it for free for the first couple of weeks. And if you like it, then maybe you give me $100 and I'll be here an hour or two. Because I'm doing that to build up business. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me.
Right.
Um, but again, it's you, and there's been books written about that. I've read a couple of books on how to do restaurant magic because it's a it's part art, part science, part timing. So people sit down, they get their menus. You don't want to bug them then,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to bug them when they're trying to place their order.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they hand those menus back to the wait staff, that's when you can go in and say, "Hey, you guys are waiting. I'm here. It's okay. Do you want to see a little magic?"
Wow.
And you don't want to you want to let them know you're being paid by the restaurant. It's you don't have to tip me. It's totally free. Just want to show you some magic, and maybe I'll leave you my business card.
Mm.
Kind of.
Just
And
cool.
magic is having a renaissance right now. I think it's very popular right now, which is I think one reason I've been getting hired a lot is because magic for some reason is going through this renaissance. I think TikTok, there's this famous TikTok where there's this guy just in somebody's living room and birds are coming out of everywhere. And people have asked me about that. I'm like, no, bro, I don't, there's no birds. I
No.
don't know if that, I think I've seen that TikTok too, and it's super cool. I don't know if it's real, doesn't matter. It's super cool. I'm not bringing birds into your house.
Your
Trust
only
me.
birds are the eagles.
My birds are the eagles. That's right. I
Exactly.
had somebody else hire me. So I have on my website, it says I'm originally from Philly, go birds.
Yeah.
She hired me. She said, one of the reasons I hired you is because you're from Philly. And I told her, I said, I'm going to do the entire show in my Philadelphia accent. It'll make you more comfortable. And she thought she liked
Amazing. That's
that.
amazing. I love it. So, I mean, can you I don't know if you listen to the podcast Smartless. Have you ever heard of the podcast?
I'm familiar with it. I don't listen to it all.
So, Sean Hayes always asks, what has ever gone wrong on stage? And he loves those questions. Has you ever had something go wrong in a magic show you've had to cover up?
Absolutely. Every show,
No.
every single. However, here's the thing. So if I was going to do a trick for you right now, I'd say, Rachel, let me show you a trick. You have no idea what I'm going to do.
Right.
And you have no idea how it's supposed to work. And you have no idea what the outcome is.
Right.
So if I screw it up in the middle and I don't say, oh, I just screwed this up, and I keep going and I correct and I'm able to correct it and end the trick the way I want to end it,
Mm.
you have no idea.
That makes
So
sense.
I have a trick. I I'll see if I can describe this. I have a trick that I love, absolutely love the trick, and I do this trick, and I will be halfway through the trick, and I'll pick up. It's a card trick, and I pick up one of the cards, and I'm like, oh my God, I screwed up this trick again. All right. But I can fix it on the fly. Like the first time it happened to me was my very first show, and I fixed it on the fly. As I was doing the trick, I was fixing the trick.
Wow.
And the people had no idea. And I realized there's this thing called magician's guilt. And magician's guilt is I know exactly what I'm doing, and I can't believe you don't. And I feel bad about that. Like, you must be able to tell what I'm doing, right? Because
Yes.
I've practiced this trick 100 times in my office,
Right.
recording myself, and every time I do it, I can see what I'm doing. Well, you're seeing it for the first time, and the hand is quicker than the eye.
Hmm.
And if you've never seen live magic before, you don't know what you're looking for.
Right.
So,
Wow.
I've been able to compensate for that, and there's other things that you know, sometimes the trick just doesn't work. And I've had other ones where I'll pull out the trick and maybe it required a little setup
Mm.
beforehand. And maybe I forgot to do the setup. And
Hmm.
I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do that trick. That's a dumb trick.
Okay.
And I just move on. I
Yeah.
just move
Yeah.
on. Nobody knows.
Well, and that's got to give you some confidence. If you in your very first show you were able to roll with it, that's pretty great.
It, I was on such a high from
Hmm.
that. And my wife was out of town and she's like, call me the second you're done this show and let me know how it goes. And she wanted, she of course wants to know either way. Was it good? Was it bad? So I called her and like I couldn't even, I was like, oh, I was on such a high from that first show. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to be in Vegas next week. That's how good I am. I didn't really think that, but um, I was on such a high and I told her, I was like, oh, and because she's kind of my muse. So I
Mm,
show her things over and over again. I'm let's say, I need you to look for this. I need you to look for that. So
mm.
she knows a lot of the secrets of magic. Um, and and I told her I even screwed this one up, but I fixed it on the fly, and it's happened to be subsequently. Even though I have a checklist before every show that I go
Mm.
through, and I make sure all the tricks are ready to go. I still will miss something, or it just something happened, and but yeah, I some things I can fix on the fly
Wow. That's
because at the end
fantastic.
of the day, you have no idea what the outcome is supposed to be.
Exactly.
That works to my advantage.
Well, we're going to get to your tricks in a minute, but I also want to ask you on a kind of a deeper level.
Mhm.
If someone is really considering trying to make their hobby into a job, or maybe is too afraid to go for it, they don't have the confidence that you eventually had, what is your advice for someone? Because you came to this, later in life, if you will. Do you have advice to give somebody, kind of that oomph to just go for it?
And number one would be, and I read this, this was not my idea, but don't quit your day job for one.
Oh, okay.
Uh, it's important to have health insurance. It's important to have retirement plan. It's important to have that stability of income. I don't do this for the money. I do it for fun. The
Yeah.
money is a bonus.
Hmm.
And it's nice. Don't get me wrong. I don't get paid that much money,
Yeah.
but getting paid is still really nice.
Yeah.
And my part, so real side note, real quick, my part-time job that I have, I work for a American Greetings, the greeting card company,
Mm.
and I just put the cards out in stores. And it's a fun job. It keeps me on my feet. It keeps me active. It's maybe 15 hours a week, just to keep me busy. I make more in one night of magic than I do in 2 weeks at that job.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So I don't do either one for the money. I do them for the benefit of keeping me active, keeping me busy. So the back to your question, the first piece of advice is don't quit your day job until
Hmm.
you can. I'm fortunate that I have a spouse that works and is successful, and because I retired, I have a pension and
Mm.
health care and things like that. So at my age, I was able to do it.
Hmm.
Number two would be, and this was what I touched on earlier, find find the organization that also does what you want to do. Because
Mm.
that, especially for a performing art
Hmm.
like magic, I mean, that was huge. The first time I went to the meeting, one of these meetings, they're like, hey, you can perform a trick if you want. And I was like, well, I don't really have anything, but I'll try this. And they're like, oh, that was really cute. And they said, do you want feedback? They
Oh.
said, "Do you want feedback?" And I was like, "Not at this time." But other times I've been like, "I'm going to show you guys something," and I want a lot of feedback. And they,
Mm.
everybody, different angles in the room have different feedback, and
Yes.
different styles of performance have different feedback. So get involved with if there's a local or if there's any kind of organization that is
Mhm.
involved in the hobby.
Mm.
And there, of course there is. There are the clubs. There's, I'm sure there's local singing,
Hmm.
dancing, whatever.
Yeah,
Get involved with that. There's only so much you can do by yourself.
absolutely. That's great advice.
You don't need, in most cases, you don't need to get that feedback right away as if you don't want
Hmm.
it. If you walk in and say, "Look, I'm here, I'm going to do this, but I don't want any feedback yet because I'm mentally not prepared for it,"
Yeah,
in most cases, they'll be fine with it. And then you'll get there on your own.
right.
And even now, there's times I'll go to my clubs and perform, and I'll be like, "I don't want feedback." And they'll be like,
Hmm.
"Okay, no feedback today."
This
So,
is invaluable because I know for me, I'd be very intimidated to be like, okay, these guys have been doing this for 30 years.
yeah,
I do not want to come and just get criticized. Not that they would, but you know what I mean. I don't want to.
yeah.
So to be able to go in there and just be like, this is just from my experience, that is fantastic.
Well, and I figured out, I have figured out who I like to get feedback from and who I
Mm.
don't. And even the ones I don't necessarily want their feedback, they still have valuable information.
Aha. It's so empowering to hear you say that because it would never occur. I would assume I'd go into that room for the criticism. And so it never occurred to me to just put it out there. I'm not interested in hearing it because that what a freedom. And so I'm thrilled that you shared that. So I think that could make the difference between someone trying something and not.
And I think that's something with your personal self-confidence. I
Mm.
have self-confidence.
Hmm.
I always have, um, which I'm fortunate. I don't know why I have it. My parents were not performers in any
Yeah.
way. They're funny people and they like, to tell a joke, that kind of thing. But they weren't standing in front of a crowd performing in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know where I got it from, but I've always had self-confidence. And it's a blessing and a curse a
Mm.
lot of times.
Hmm.
Again, back to the employee example,
Right.
some supervisors liked it, some did not. But
Yeah.
I was, by the time towards the end of my career, I had been doing information technology for 30 years. I felt I knew what I was talking about.
I I would agree with that. Yes.
But whether I was right or not, I felt I knew what I was talking about.
Right. Well, I have to say, I am very much enjoying where you are now in your life. Not that that wasn't fantastic, but this seems very suited to you.
Oh my God. I could, so between greeting cards and magic, which is my current employers,
Yeah.
uh, it's way different than corporate slash government information technology. And I like greeting cards and magic way more. Now, I made a lot more money doing information technology,
Yeah.
but it's still my current life situation. My stress level is,
I was gonna
you know,
say stress level alone, right.
I still have a mortgage to pay and that kind of
Yeah.
thing, but it's okay. It's
I'm
okay.
s- I'm so happy for you that you were in this space of your life. And can you show us a trick? Is it time for our trick?
If you want,
I
sure.
want, yes.
Okay. I'm trying to think what's going to work on camera. Well, you know what? You had asked if I could, I think you asked me in what you sent me, if I could show you one that I could teach you.
Yes, but I don't want you to give away
Okay.
like important secrets.
No, no, no.
I
So
have
this is,
I
I'm
have
going to,
cards and I have a coin.
okay, excellent.
Okay.
I'm going to have you watch and then
Okay.
I will show you how to do it. So
Okay.
this is one that's on YouTube. Um, there's different presentations to it, but it's public domain. So
Okay.
it's not, but I'm not going to tell you how we do it at first. I'm going to tilt my camera down. Well, I don't know if this is going to work, but I've got my
Okay.
little close-up mat here. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So I want you to see, as best you can, that it's just a normal deck of cards.
Okay.
Like I said, I've never done this, so I don't know if it's going to work.
Okay.
All right. So I've got this deck of cards. I'm going to reach down and I want you, Rachel, to tell me like when I should cut the deck.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Now.
I'm just gonna
Oh, sorry.
now. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the deck. Okay, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna talk to you for a moment, and I'll explain some things after we do it.
Okay.
Um, First of all, you know there's 52 cards in a deck, right?
Yes.
And the number of different combinations of so this we'll assume I didn't shuffle the deck, but it didn't really matter in this particular case. I can still shuffle it. There's the different combinations of a deck of cards. It's 52 factorial. So that's 52 times 51 times 50, blah, 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 blah. This
Oh,
is,
okay.
this isn't a math test. But it's like there's more combinations to a deck of cards than there are like grains of sand. Some
Wow. Okay.
ridiculous number like that. I don't even know how many zeros it is. Anyway, we cut the deck and it's hard for you. I'm going to show you this card. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to
Okay.
show you this card. Okay.
Yep.
You got it? I'm putting
Got
the
it.
card back and then I'm going to shuffle the deck. And I'm not a very good card guy. So any other magicians watching will know that I'm not. So don't make fun of me. All right, there. So you've got a card. Now I'm going to put my camera back up for a second.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm
Okay.
actually going to look at the cards now and try and figure out your card. So I'm going to ask you some questions and see if I can figure out what your card is just by asking you these questions. So, and you can lie to me. Think of it as like a lie detector, okay?
Oh,
Um, so you're originally from Philadelphia area, correct?
that's correct.
True. Okay, good. Um, Look at me. Look at me. High, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. 10 Jack Queen King, 10 Jack Queen King. Okay. I know it's not a face card. I know that.
Oh,
Um,
oh, okay.
because I'm reading you.
Oh,
Okay.
right, right.
So what I want you to do, is your card red or black?
Black.
Okay, that was true. I don't know why you looked away, but it was true. Your card is
I was
black.
trying to make you think it wasn't true.
Yeah. Um, and I know it's not a face card. So if it's black, it's spades or clubs, spades or clubs, spades or clubs, spades or clubs. It's spades. Your card is a spade, right? So
Yes, that's correct.
you're not very good to keep at lying at this
I'm
point, I
not.
can tell. Um, and I'm still looking. I can still see you on my
Okay, yeah,
screen.
you can still see me.
Um, just do me a favor. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
No, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Do it again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And now do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. So I know your card is between 1 and 5. I know it's a spade. Um, I have a feeling that that's your
Yes,
card. Is that your
that's the
card?
card.
Okay.
Yes, but
All
you
right.
knew
So
that already.
you think so?
I think so.
Okay. So I'm gonna show you how I did this trick.
Yay!
Okay.
Thank you.
So it's called a crisscross force. So here's what happened. I spread the cards out and I said, look, it's a normal deck of cards. While I'm doing that, I noticed what the top card is. In this case, it's an 8 of hearts.
Okay.
Okay. And then normally I would have the spectator, if you're sitting here, I'd have them cut the deck. Now, normally when you cut cards, you would just do that. But what I did, now the 8 of hearts is right here, right?
Right.
It was the top card. We cut the deck and I did this. And then I just kind of distracted you for a few seconds.
Right.
So you forgot that I didn't actually cut the cards or that I didn't finish the
Oh!
cut. And
Oh my
then
gosh!
when I said, this is your card,
It was just there.
and then the rest of it is all acting. That's all it is. That's all that is.
Oh my gosh!
Isn't that nuts?
Wow.
And 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 I've seen people perform this trick, and they're so good at it they could build a career on that one trick. And they've taught this trick on and this again this is on YouTube. It's a very common, very simple beginner trick, but depending on the delivery, it's
Yeah.
brilliant. And
Wow.
you can show this to your husband later today, and if he doesn't know anything about card magic, he'll be blown away.
I
Because
cannot wait.
what
I'm so
the
excited.
rest of it, and like I said, the rest of it is just acting, and you can do whatever you want. I do like a lie detector,
Yeah.
but there's all different kinds of things you can do. And I will sometimes do this trick for people that pay me, and I'll say, "Hey, do you want to learn a trick? I'll show you a trick." Because
Gotcha.
this is, like I said, this is one you could find on YouTube very easily.
Gotcha. Right, 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 right.
Not a huge secret. Um, doesn't expose like there's no special shuffle involved. The
Right. No
shuffle was
special
really
deck involved or anything.
no. And
Right.
then actually, all I did when I did shuffle the cards. So then all I did while we were talking was I just found what was it, the Eight of Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
I just cut the deck like that. Now
Oh.
the Eight of Hearts is on top. And there's different ways I can reveal that too. So
Wow. That's
again, but
very
then I
cool.
build in that delay where I'm asking you questions. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
forget that I looked through the deck.
totally.
Yeah. And again, the rest of it's just acting.
You're very good at it. You're very good at it.
And
So
that's not
among
what I do. No, go ahead.
but among among magicians, you can
Yeah.
share. Can you share tricks or share?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it's actually the organizations I'm in, you sign a pledge saying I will not reveal the secrets of magic. Now,
Mhm.
what I just showed you is not a big secret of magic.
Right, right.
Um, and even there's also other things, even if you know the method, the secret of magic, doesn't mean you figured out how I do the trick. So
Oh, right.
there's lots of different ways to do that. That's just one way. Yeah.
Wow, I love seeing into a world that I know nothing about. But it seems like everybody is really, people are not covetous of, because you're all doing the same thing. You know how hard it is, you know how long it takes to perfect it. So it's nice that there's this camaraderie between all of you.
In most cases, I mean, there's, just like any other large organization, there's people who are very protective. Like the creator, I'm not a creator, so I'm not trying to sell any magic, but there are creators, and sometimes they will sell it, and other times they don't, and that's
Mm,
fine. It's
right.
their creation, or maybe it's kind of build a better mousetrap theory. They took somebody else's and they changed it, and they made it better for them, and
Mm,
everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's incredible!" But they don't want to reveal it and try and charge people money for it because it's not theirs. Now, one thing that the magic world is usually really good at is attribution.
mm,
So if I were to go on one of these and buy a magic trick, the person whose trick it is, they make a video and they teach you how to do the trick. They they're very good at attribution. And they say, well, this is based on so and so's method, but I added this person's method and came up with this, which then I discovered was this guy in Denmark. And I asked him if I could use it, and he said yes. And it's a whole thing. And, you're putting out a lot of footnotes in your magic.
right.
Um, but it's most of the time people are really good. And then there's scandals just like anywhere else. Like, oh, they put out a trick and it's my trick, and here's where I published it.
Oh.
That happens too. That happens too.
So that brings me to, where do you get ideas for your new tricks and how do you
I
know that
steal them.
you still,
Go ahead, finish your question.
I
I'll
was
give a
going to
more
say,
detailed answer,
and
but finish your question.
how do you know if they're okay to put in your act?
So, sorry. Um, when you buy a trick from a commercial or I buy a lot at conferences because those are not a lot of the stuff you buy at a conference. Because at a conference, there's always a vendor hall
Okay.
and vendors selling their wares, and a lot of them are not available except at a conference,
Like I wouldn't be able
which
to go
makes
and buy that trick kind of thing.
exactly,
Right.
and which is good. It's good and bad. It's good in that even other magicians may not have it because they didn't
Mm.
go to the conference, and it's
Ah.
bad in that maybe that doesn't have the level of support. Like there's other places where you go and you buy a trick, and there's discussion boards about the trick. So you can read if you're having some problem with it, you can read that maybe someone else had the same problem.
Mm.
Um, and I forgot what your original question was.
How do you get ideas and how do you know
Oh,
they're
right,
okay to
right. I
use?
steal them.
You see?
Same answer. So I will at my clubs, my friends, my magic
Mm.
friends, also known as my friends, uh, they'll perform something. I'll be like, "Ooh, that's great. What is it? Is it yours?" And they're like, "No, I got it here, but I changed this, that, this." So we trade a lot of ideas, and there's one trick that we all do. I won't go into too much detail, but uh, at my last conference, the creator of the trick was there, and I stalked him and I hunted him down. Super nice guy. He's been on TV. He's had a couple of Amazon series.
Mm.
He's in the magic community. He's a very well known speaker, and he's excellent. He's a great speaker. He's got a great act. And I found him. I said, "Hey, can you make a quick video for me, uh, and just tell all my friends that we should stop doing your trick and come up with something more original?" He's like, "Absolutely, I would love that." And he made this video, and I sent it to him. They were like, "That was awesome." And he was,
Wow.
he's kidding. He was so happy we were all doing his trick,
Yeah, yeah.
and because that means we all paid for it.
Right.
Because that's another issue which I can talk about, which is stealing magic,
Oh,
which is a huge problem too. But anyway, this creator, he was thrilled to make that little joke, and
yeah.
my friends were all thrilled to see it. They were like, "That is fantastic. I really need to go to these conferences." And because I'm not afraid, I'll go up to anybody.
Yeah.
I've met Teller from Penn and Teller,
Wow.
uh, Shin Lim,
Mhm.
um, who won America's Got Talent.
Right, right.
Uh, David Blaine was sitting behind me at something. He's not really approachable, but I held my phone up and I pretended he was in the shot. David Copperfield, I got a shot of his back because he was
Oh,
also not really approachable.
mm.
Um, some other people you've never heard of, but they're famous in the magic world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So is the dream like to one day devise your own trick? Like and be this is not necessarily.
If it happens organically, great.
Mm. Okay.
Um, a lot of times, what you'll do, you'll get a trick and you will make it your own. Like even the one I just showed you, hundreds of ways you could go with that trick.
Mm.
Um, that trick could lead to, that card winding up, on the ceiling or something. There's just a lot of different ways you could take that trick.
Mm.
So I do. I'm not a creative. I don't consider myself a creative in that
Mm-hmm.
way, but I do. You want to put your own spin on as much as you can on tricks. I've seen magicians um, who and they're just local magicians like me, but they're probably a little more established than I am. And I've watched their whole act. I'd be like, wow, he just did that whole trick. I have the same trick. He just did it verbatim out of the box without any originality. He did it really well, but I knew exactly what was I knew that every word he was about to say after the first sentence. I knew every word he was going to say. And it's not
Interesting.
and it's not that it was bad. It was just and that's because I'm a magician, because
Right.
I'm a jerk and and I would never say that to him. And I only said it. A friend of mine was sitting next to me. We just kind of shared a look, like
Yeah.
this is right out of the box.
Wow.
Yeah. And I didn't say anything to my wife. He didn't say anything to his wife, but we shared this like he's been doing this long enough. He could punch that up a little, and he's
Right.
good. Like
Yeah.
he's good. He's good at his craft. He could make this trick better. And I was just a little disappointed that he did it. That's all. I would never in a million years say it to
Mm-hmm.
him. And afterwards, I was like, "You were awesome," and because
Yeah.
he really was. But I was expecting a little more from him.
Right.
And people could say that about every trick I do. Like I was expecting a little more from you, Gary, on
No.
that.
Well, I was going to say
So
that's good information for you to know how you would rather do it. That's
yeah,
helpful for you to see someone do it
and
that way.
and not only that, I don't even do the trick in my act
Oh,
because I don't because I haven't memorized that script that he's got because I want to do my own thing. So
right.
I have to give him credit because he actually memorized the script. I haven't.
Right. Oh, wow. So, do you have a dream for the Okayest Magician? Are we gonna keep walk around? Do we want to be a stage music? I keep saying musician, magician.
Because you're a musician, yeah.
Yes, right.
I I like where I am right now.
Hmm.
I like that intimacy of that little show. One thing I would like to add to my repertoire, I would like to have a regular restaurant thing where
Hmm.
I'm there once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever the case may be, where I have this regular gig, even if they're not paying me,
Hmm.
um, where I can just go and do magic.
Hmm.
Because part of that, that's also a great place to rehearse, basically, try out new
Right.
things. It's hard for me to try out new things in a show where people are paying me.
Of
I don't want
course,
to,
right.
and a lot. But what I have done is I'll finish my show, and people are like, "Yay!" And I say, "By the way, I've got a new one. I don't know how it's going to play, but do you guys want to see? It's not part of my show, but
Yeah.
I'd love to show you guys." And I have yet to have someone say, "No, we don't want to see your new act, your new magic."
Yeah.
And even at one gig, they were giving me feedback. They're like, "Oh, this was good, but this happened. Maybe you could do this." I was like, "These are great ideas. Thank you." And they
Well,
were.
it feels akin to a seasoned comedian who still goes to open mic nights to try out
They all do.
material because you
They
you
all
just don't know until you need to have the audience there to know how it's going to work. Oh, that's so
and
interesting.
they all do that. That's part of their craft. Is they'll go to that little club where Jerry Seinfeld will
Yeah.
go to that little club in New York City, sit in the corner, write jokes on a napkin, and sit there with some other comedian, and then he'll go up on stage and do 5 minutes and
Yeah.
see how it works,
Right.
just
It's
like
the
everybody else. And
it's
people are like, "Oh my God, that's Jerry Seinfeld at an open mic night." And
yeah.
we have so there's a guy I know runs a magic open mic night,
Wow.
and that I've performed at that a couple of times, and it's fun. And
Yeah.
that's where he makes it very clear. People are trying out new stuff. People are trying new material. Whatever he makes it very clear, and it's free. So
Mhm.
the audience doesn't care. They're there to have fun, and
That's fantastic.
yeah.
How much do you have to practice during like a regular week, would you say?
Um,
Like, do you do finger
lately,
exercises and stuff?
no. I mean, I should. It wouldn't hurt. I will almost always, just as a nervous tick, I will. Uh, I often have a coin,
Mm,
and I'll practice. I'll practice. Um, coin moves.
yeah,
It's hard to do, but this
yeah,
isn't a good coin. You said you had a coin.
I
So
do.
let me.
I brought a big one, as a matter of fact. Like it's
Is it a
like it's like a
dollar? Yeah.
medallion thing. It's like a big coin.
Okay. So I'm gonna move up a little bit. Um, this is another one that
Oh, right. And then you go like that. Right?
right. It's here.
How did because
It's
I don't know how to do it for real. Okay, so I'm
well,
holding it
all
here.
I'm doing. It's called the French drop. Fame, very old. All I'm doing is dropping the coin like that. I don't even have to really move my thumb because I don't want you to see me moving my thumb. My hand's in a weird angle. So I'm showing you the coin like this, and
Right.
then I'm dropping it in my hand,
And then I'm
and
going, oh, I did
I'm
it the
pretending to
right.
grab it, but I'm dropping my hand to my side. So you're not looking.
Oh,
You're looking here.
yep.
If I do it standing up,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, is it behind your ear? No, it's gone.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
it's behind your ear.
I
Very,
can't wait
very.
till you're a grandpa someday. You're going to be the best grandpa.
I don't want to be a grandpa. My kids are too young. I
Oh,
don't want to
I
be
said
anytime.
someday. Someday.
Yes. I have a funny story at one of these conferences. Normally, there's these fancy booths, and these companies spend a lot of money on their booth and their products, and there's flashing lights and girls in sequins, whatever. They want to get your attention. So I got there's this I'm walking around the vendor hall, and there's a guy, and he's standing there like this. He's an older guy, bald guy like me, and he looks like a Russian gangster, like an older Russian gangster, and he's got nothing on his table, nothing, and he just has this one lucite little plastic sign holder with almost it wasn't handwritten, but you could tell he just printed it out at the hotel lobby that morning, and it's the trick and how much it costs in his name. And behind him on a table, he's got stacks of cards, red and blue, just stacks and stacks of cards. And as the week wore on, I didn't talk to him because he was intimidating to
Yeah.
look at, like
Yeah.
scary. But I would watch from afar. I'd see people demonstrating him demonstrating the trick. People going, "Oh my God!" And as the week go on, I'd see these stacks of cards dwindle because that's all he brought was these stacks of cards, this lucite sign, and he demoed the trick. So finally, towards the end, he's almost out. I'm like, okay, now I got to go talk to him. And uh, I said, all right. I told him, I said, I've been watching. I've been a little intimidated to come talk to you. And he smiled. And I said, can you show me the trick? He says, yeah. He shows me the trick. I threw my money. I said, take my money. And I said, and I didn't know how he did it at that point. I had no idea. I said, take my money, give me the trick. He hands me the card, the box of cards. He says, you go back to a hotel room, you watch video. If you don't learn trick in 5 minutes, you come back, I give you your money back. And you keep trick. So I go, I didn't immediately run back to I go to my hotel room that night. I watch the video and I'm like, holy shit. I put it in my act like literally the next day. It
Wow.
was a powerful trick. The method was outstanding, but it was easy enough that it didn't require that much technical skill that I could put it in my act that quickly. And now I've since put my own spin on it,
Mm.
and my own. I tell that story. I'm like, this Russian gangster sold me a magic trick.
Yeah.
It's funny and and it's basically a true story.
Wow.
And and the trick kills.
Huh.
Like the reveal of the trick, people just go nuts.
Wow.
He was right. It took
Yeah.
me 5 minutes to learn the trick. I put it in my act the next day, and I've been doing it ever since. It's one of my favorite tricks, but it
Amazing.
was easy.
Yeah.
Whereas there's like some coin tricks. I love coin magic,
Mm.
and coin magic is great for close up.
Hmm.
But there's some coin tricks. I mean, I've been working on them for 4 years,
Hmm.
and I'm still not comfortable um, doing them for anybody.
How about that? Wow.
Yeah, because
Wow.
they're that hard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. Well, next time I'm in Pennsylvania, I am coming to a show. Can you please tell everyone where we can find the Okayest Magician? We'll have a placard at the end and all your information, but can you just tell us now?
www.theokayestmagician.com.
All right.
We're on
Excellent.
Instagram, the Okayest Magician.
Perfect. And are there
Yeah,
videos on your website of you doing your
there
thing
are.
as
I've got
well?
some videos of performances that I've done. I've been to a couple of shows.
Hmm.
Some friends of mine have a show, and they bring in a guest magician. The open mic night that I mentioned,
Hmm.
and then there's been. I honestly don't have enough footage of my performances because when I do someone's house, I'm
Mm.
dependent on them. If it's in a public location, I can bring. Sometimes my wife will come with me, and
Hmm.
I ask ahead of time, say, "Do you mind if I bring my wife?" And they're like, "Oh, sure, bring her along," and she can take some footage of me. Uh, but it's a lot of times it's dependent uh, on the other people recording it. I ask them to
Sure.
send me a God. So, but yes, I do have some footage out there. Only my best.
Is the Russian trick on there by any chance?
Maybe
I'm gonna
parts
look
of
for
it.
it. Okay.
I don't. One thing I don't have an entire. I don't think I have an entire trick of anything. I have little clips where there's audience reaction or
Sure.
reveal kind of thing.
Well, that makes sense because we have to pay to come see you. You don't want to just have it out there, of course,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. So,
Right. Thank you so much for your time. It is
thank you for
wonderful to
having me.
see you. Wonderful to talk to
Yeah.
you. And yeah, I look forward to catching a show sometime. Thank you,
Great.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it, and because I love talking about myself, and and I'm back to the earlier questions. I've really this hobby. I love to talk about this hobby.
Mhm.
And one other thing I'll add is, my friends who've been in the hobby for a long time, they are also magical historians. Like they know the history because it's kind of like one of these things where there's very little original out there these days. Like
Mm,
there's very little original coming out. They're just alterations on a method, back to the attribution that I mentioned. But
hmm.
they're all magical historians, and I'm always impressed because they know about all these magicians I've never heard of because there's been a
Mm,
lot of them, and some really good and famous that probably never made money as a magician,
right.
um, but they contributed to the art form, which is neat.
Wow.
It's really neat.
Fascinating. Oh, so cool. I am so happy you found this in your
Me
life. I
too.
just think you're so well suited to it and you're bringing so much joy to so many people. So I just wish you
Thank you.
the most success and more to you, really.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.